Hello, 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 beautiful blushers. Hello, hello, welcome to my course. So today I'm going to talk to you through my approach to blushing. And although I say it's my approach, it's really based on over 200 people I spoke to who suffer from excessive blushing. Lots of them have recovered on their own and lots of them have helped to recover. But it's really based on what any person needs to do. So it's not some stupid technique or some silly internet gimmick. It's really based on principles that every person has followed who has recovered from blushing. So the part of this course, there's three different parts to it. These are each standalone products. So the purpose is the blushing blueprint, for example, is really a blueprint to help someone know exactly what they need to do, in any situation. So that if they did that one thing, the small but incredibly important thing, the next time they're in that situation, they automatically feel more comfortable. They automatically blush less. It's really understanding the principles. Anyone who recovers from blushing follows those principles, does those things. If they don't, they simply do not recover. So it's really understanding what you need to do in any situation, and just that one thing you need to do so that you can begin to move forward. So whether you're worrying about blushing and you're having, feeling embarrassed with the thought of blushing, whether you're blushing in a certain situation, or even after you've blushed, to know what you need to do so that you can shift that pattern in your brain, so that you can begin to feel differently, think differently, and act differently, reducing your blushing and making you feel much, much better in your life in every single way. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Paul, this is a self-hypnosis course. Why are you telling me what to do? Why are you giving me this blushing blueprint? Well, my focus is based on that. So self-hypnosis as a standalone product is amazing. It's awesome. It's great at helping you to shift. So all these things we talk about in the blushing blueprint that you can do for yourself in your own life, the self-hypnosis recordings help you to create all those shifts automatically. So create all those shifts without you needing to blush. Create all those shifts unconsciously in your brain so that you automatically begin to lay a strong foundation that you can build forward from. But I thought, well, come on, surely I've got to tell people specifically what they need to do. So be honest with people, and it's great that lots of people can resolve blushing, purely listening to self-hypnosis. But other people, it's massively helpful that they know what to do whenever they blush. It gives them that sense of confidence and helps them tremendously in their life. So self-hypnosis is really wonderful at helping people to create those associations so that you begin to feel more comfortable, begin to think less worrying thoughts about blushing, and you begin to respond more assertively and you feel more comfortable when you actually blush, which is brilliant. Except it has less of an impact on your life. You worry about it less and it helps you tremendously. And the third part of my process is the therapy trainings. Now, the reason why I've included these is because there's different types of people that blush. For example, I thought before all the people that come see me in my therapy room were people who suffer from really excessive intense blushing, accompanied with anxiety. So their face blushed unbelievably red, their neck blushed, their chest blushed, their arms blushed all the way down, and it throbs like that for a period of time. It probably happened 10 times a day like that to them. So I thought every single person was the same as that. But after speaking to lots of people, it's not the case. Some of the people that come on my course are people that may be professionals, they have high self-esteem, high confidence, but in certain situations, they blush and it makes them feel really awkward. Whether it's at work, whether it's when they're on a date, whether it's a certain situation, it makes them feel really awkward. So I wanted to include those type of people and give them the support they needed. For example, one of the trainings, one of the recordings, works amazingly well for specific situations you blush. So it's really good for people who suffer from excessive intense blushing, if they suffer from certain situations that they want to deal with first. And it's brilliant for people who are professionals who blush and want to deal with the one situation that they do blush, because then it breaks it down and makes them move forward very, very easily and very, very comfortably. The third type of person as well that I tend to speak to, although there's more types, is young people that blush, maybe between the age of 15 and 22. And often that type of person, blushing may be resolved on its own over 5 to 10 years as they grow and develop as a person, but they're pissed off with it, they hate it, they're frustrated with it, they want to actually resolve it now, which is cool. Go for it if you want to resolve it now. And the reason why I put this course together is after speaking with lots of people who blush, they may really understand the really frustration. When I speak to my other colleagues, psychologists, therapists, psychotherapists, cognitive therapists about blushing, they never ever see people blushing, so they don't really understand it, and it's really hard for people, which I know that you understand. It's really hard for other people to grasp how horrific it is and how awful it is and the effect it has on someone's life. And I'm sure you've been aware of that, trying to tell your friends and family who just don't get it. But it's such a burden on people's lives, and the problem is that the effect grows worse with time. So if it has a really awkward on effect now, just when you blush once, over the course of weeks, months and years, it's not that the pain of blushing is the worst problem. The worst problem is it limits you in so many areas of your life. That pattern of needing to avoid something continuously because it's painful causes you to limit your relationships. Maybe you never get in one. Maybe if you do get in one, you can never build the close, intimate connection that you want consistently. Maybe limits your growth, stuck in a crappy job that you hate. Maybe limits your growth in terms of, you not being able to develop friendships and go out and see people because it's so difficult and uncomfortable for you. Maybe it stops you doing anything new. Maybe it stops you going abroad. Maybe it stops you in a different area of your life. But that's the frustration, is that it acts like a burden, limiting you, holding you back continuously. And it really pisses me off, really frustrates it, because people do deserve to be free of it so they can begin to move forward in their life in a way that's right for you. So just so you've got a complete understanding. So this course isn't a stupid internet marketing gimmick or anything really like that. It's based completely on what people actually need to do to recover from their blushing. So, whatever your journey is your journey. So I know you want to recover from your blushing as quickly as possible, but let me be honest with you. Some people it will take 2-3 months, some people it would take a week. But whichever person you are, just know that you're that person. Don't be the 2 or 3 month person who've got horrific excessive blushing and social anxiety and want to cure it in a week, because you won't. Don't be the person who can cure this in a week and then take 2 or 3 months to do it. Focus on it and get it done. But the biggest, so knowing yourself, your journey is your journey. Now, the biggest stumbling block that I found from the people I spoke to is that, often we feel that our problem, is much worse than everybody else's, and our problem is incurable and there's nothing we can do about it, and so on and so forth. Now, I appreciate that, I understand where you're coming from, but it's not true. And I understand why you do it, because I've done it a lot in my life as well, because we feel really scared. We feel really, really scared of actually addressing our insecurities. It feels horrible. I like to avoid them, to bury my head in the sand, hide away from them, and I did much earlier in my life, and it was terrible. I just didn't grow in so many different areas. It caused me all kinds of problems in every area of my life. It was a terrible strategy. If I'd known what I know now, I wouldn't have done it, but I did. So avoidance never ever works. But I understand that. You don't want to think about your insecurity. You don't want to think about the way it makes you feel. You just want to avoid it and not deal with it. I completely appreciate that. And it feels to you like it's such a solid thing. It's just the way you are. It's just how you respond to things. It's not true. It's the way your brain is. And every single bit of new information your brain gets, it changes, it shifts. It's 100% fact that does happen. So all the tendencies, associations, thoughts, feelings, actions you have surrounding blushing, as those things change, your experience of blushing changes. You feel, think, act differently. Your blushing reduces. You feel more comfortable. You feel stronger. You feel more assertive. Everything changes in a way that supports you. This is something that naturally happens. The only way, if you're blushing to stay the same, is for all those things become rock solid and stay identically the same every single day, every single week, every single month. So any new information, any new habits you use, just literally, even if you just go onto the Facebook group and you watch other people and understand what they do to recover from their blushing, that can create those associations and make you feel more motivated, committed, that you can do it. If you just begin to understand the blushing blueprint, you begin to see there's so many things that you can do, within that pattern, so that you begin to break it down and feel more comfortable straight away. As you listen to self-hypnosis corners, you naturally feel more motivated, more committed, and really ready to move forward in a way that's right for yourself. If you follow the therapeutic side of the program, what you'll find is that'll directly change the way you feel in your nervous system. So if you imagine the laughter therapy program, great program, I love it. So on this side, you've got, you hate blushing, it's horrific, it's the worst thing in the world, you don't know what to do, you're going to avoid it at all costs. On this side, you've got laughter and silliness. Yeah, it sounds strange, doesn't it? But my point is that if you associate those two things together, it collapses them down in your nervous system, and then you then feel neutral, and that's the point. Just, often when people can just listen to it once, and they'll already begin to suddenly, for that day, the worry of blushing and the thought of worry of blushing no longer exists for many people. Why is that? Because the thought is purely, you think about something blushing, and the response in your nervous system, the feeling in your stomach that makes you feel awkward and uncomfortable, is what makes you dislike blushing. But when that is disassociated, when it's broken down, you then suddenly can think about blushing but not feel that feeling, which is amazing, isn't it? Which is really wonderful. And it massively helps people begin to move forward in a way that's right for themselves. So the course starts in 10 days' time. If you want to enroll, click enroll now. It'd be awesome to see you there. That's a bit sudden, wasn't it? Yeah, and so let me just go over the next training video. The next therapy training video is based on assertiveness. Now, the purpose of that is unbelievably important. Unbelievably important. It's probably the biggest thing that when I speak to people, it's probably one of the biggest things that they focus on when they recover from blushing on their own is training themselves to actually respond differently to blushing. It's not focusing on the build up to blushing, not focusing on the blushing itself, but just simply when it happens, train themselves to respond differently so that they feel much more comfortable with blushing, and it gives them much more options. So if before they responded by becoming introverted, staring at the ground, mumbling, handshaking, not being able to think clearly, saying the wrong thing, hiding away and avoiding the situation, they do the complete opposite. So they respond assertively, focus on their body language, feeling strong, feeling comfortable in themselves. Now when they've done studies on this, they've found that when they've done studies on how much stress hormones release, imagine that you were afraid of something, for example, and that when the stimuli came in and your nervous system responded, say on a scale of 1 to 10, it was level 8 in terms of how much adrenaline and cortisol, the stress hormones that released in your body, which is what made you feel awful. Yeah, does that make sense? And which magnified your blushing response. Now, what they've found is when someone creates a physiology that's incongruent with that, so the physiology stays assertive and they still speak assertively and they still engage in the situation, not avoid it and run away, even though they want to, what happens is it creates conflict in your brain, and your brain releases far less stress hormones. So they found, someone can release up to 80% less stress hormones just by training the physiology, which is huge, isn't it? Which is absolutely huge. Because it gives you something to focus on, and that one thing not only makes you feel more comfortable in that situation, but it trains your mind and your body, so you automatically do it the next time. So you automatically feel more comfortable and better in yourself in every single way. Cool, I hope that makes sense. So it's 3 standalone products, and they're designed that whatever your excessive and intense blushing, however it's affecting you in your life, they can help you with every little different facet of it. And the purpose of the course is to make it easy for you. The purpose of the course is to make it as easy as possible. Anyone can find out that just being assertive, doing these things helps you, but it's hard to do, isn't it? It's difficult. It's a struggle for most people. So, understanding that the course is designed to help you wherever you are, to make it as easy as possible to build over the course of the next 28 days and to lay that foundation so that your blushing then reduces in intensity and in frequency with every week you move forward in your life. Cool, does that make sense? Superb, brilliant. Cool. If you want to speak to me soon, click enroll, and I look forward to seeing you very soon. Of course, that's in 10 days' time. Awesome. Take care.